How can you cope with the fears in times of Corona?
Well, first of all, we have to discriminate that there are not just fears. There are specific fears. We discriminate according to the nature of the body graph as the fears of the spleen, the fears of the ajna, and the fears of the solar plexus. The fears of the spleen are very existential ones, and these are the healthy fears because they make us cautious, they make us aware, they keep us awake. So these are the fears, they foster and nourish the development of body intelligence. And then we have the fears of the mind, and the fears of the mind, these are not always, but they can become the pathological fears. These are the fears, they are not helpful. And they are not helpful for a very simple reason, because there is never the solution in the mind. And this is maybe the most important thing we have to understand in this time, because there is an ongoing bombardment by informations of all kinds, a lot of panicking, a lot of bad news and threats, and on the other hand, of course, the big discussion what we have to do in order to face that crisis successfully. And that gives us the illusion that we can solve that problem by thinking, by finding a mental truth, by finding a concept. And this is the great mistake. And this is the reason why, if you are in that mental game, you cannot get rid of the fears. You can never find security in the mind. You can look at, there is no country on that globe where not even the most specialized people can agree on something. Yeah? So, I mean, think about it for one moment. You have the best virologists of this and that, and on the other hand, the same best virologists, and they cannot agree on one single element. What does that tell us? That we don't know. And it's not their fault, so to speak. We just don't know. And in a situation where I don't know, how could mind help me to make a decision? Yeah? So, the power of mental fears comes from the deeper assumption that by knowing we will be safe. But the truth is we don't know. And therefore, in order to get rid of the mental fears, you first have to accept that you don't know. And not only you, nobody knows. And in that moment, all that discussion and comparing and judging, it does not make sense anymore. It is the wrong place to find a solution. And honestly, guys, I'm not occupied with finding a solution for the world. I'm very satisfied if I find a solution for myself. And the solution for myself is there. It's just sitting here. It is in my body. My body knows what it has to do now. And that's everything I need in order to have a good life. Or let's say the best life possible. The life that has been designed for me, for my great journey. And in that moment, why should I have a fear? Why should I? What exactly should I be afraid? I mean, I will die anyway. And you, by the way, too. Even you will die anyway. So, the question is not if you can avoid dying. The question is, how do you move to that point? And if you move to that point as yourself, there is nothing to fear. And the way to do it is as simple as it can be. Strategy and authority, no matter what. You know? Then you will be freed from that unnecessary fears. And if you have one of these very special nasty minds, then start to observe it. Observe it, write down what your mind is telling you, and if you then, because it's much easier to observe, if you have written it down, you see it in kind of physical way written down, then you will see what a nonsense. it is unbelievable that you could believe it. And in that moment, you may even be able to smile at your mind. And there will be no fears anymore.